Good morning. So this activity should start us thinking about our ED students and sort of wake us up and get us going. You will need to have at least 5 people at your table for this activity to work. So you need to shift, do that now. Okay, once you are situated, you should look to the middle of your table and see a pile of papers that look like this. Each person will need one of these papers. And Debbie's ammo is going to be going around if we're missing one. So I'm going to go through each of the slides and then you'll know when to switch to the next person. But we're going to sort of start thinking about EDD students and what that looks like in this context. So the first person, you'll write one sentence on the top of your paper describing a successful EDD student. Yes, everybody does, and then once you have that sentence, give it about a minute, pass it to the person on your right. Okay, you should be passing your paper now if you haven't already. When you get the paper, read that sentence at the top and draw a picture in the next space depicting that sentence. Once you've drawn your picture, fold the paper so the sentence is hidden and all they can see is your picture. Okay, when your picture is drawn, again, make sure that sentence is hidden at the top and pass it to your right. When you get your new picture, write a sentence now describing that picture. After your sentence, you will fold the paper again, this time writing the first sentence and the picture, so the next person only sees your new sentence. Once you have passed the paper, the next person should draw a picture depicting the last sentence on the paper in the next space, and then fold your paper to hide all but your current picture. Once your picture is done and you pass it again, you will write a final sentence describing that picture. So this is our last round, and then pass that paper back to its original owner to reveal. As you are reading your original papers, I want you to take a look up at the PowerPoint. And I have 3 questions for you to talk about among your groups, sort of based on this activity, but also to start thinking about these things. So what did a successful student look like to you? How did your table mates depict this differently? What are your desired outcomes for graduates? And then how do we prepare students for those outcomes? So just take a few more minutes now and talk about that at your table. So I'm not sure what you concluded at your table, but these are some thoughts that I wanted to share based largely on Jill's presentation in the new member orientation yesterday. So, a successful EDD student might not look like our conception of a successful student in other contexts. So when I was thinking about this activity, I was imagining myself originally writing a sentence and drawing someone sitting at a desk with a book in front of them and a piece of paper right here. And that I don't know if that is really what a successful student looks like in this context. So just starting to think about really the difference between that traditional conception that we have of a successful student and our EDD students. And we also all have different ideas of what this might look like, but I'm hopeful that at your tables you found that there were some commonalities between you. And some of the commonalities might be that we are trying to create change agents. So despite the fact that these students come from different contexts and you are all in different contexts, we're trying to produce change agents. So there are similarities between the students. Did anyone have anything profound that they wanted to share out with the Okay, we can leave it at that then. We don't have to share. We don't have to share out. But so you're next. Where do they go to next? No, they. Okay, all right.
What did I just say? Sharing and learning, right? Somebody had something profound or something that maybe struck them or just something that was funny. What do we got? I was going to say, don't make me complain. What do we got over there?
Go ahead.
Okay, I just have to, I don't know if you guys could see it, but we had two people who drew exactly the same picture. They had social change skills and expertise with the organizational dimension at the center. So across the table, these two people put exactly
Two people who drew the same picture. Wow,
because
get that across the
it was
board.
made to help make that link.
Sweet.
That was my drink right there.
Thank you, Patrick.
I thought it was interesting how we all kind of liked our end product, kind of upon reflection, more than the original sentence we wrote. So I think that has something to say about like conversing with colleagues about what our aims really are.
That is awesome. So the end product was better than the original idea. Can I just pontificate for a minute? That brings forth the notion that these programs cannot be designed by one person. It takes a village, right? It takes a whole department to get their heads around these ideas, to make them different than what they could be, as well as make them sustainable, right? So when you go back home and you're with a department of people who might say, I don't want anything to do with that. Oh, Joe's got that, he'll handle that. No. Bring everyone together around these ideas, and this might be a great exercise to do that, right? A little bit of fun, maybe with some wine at the end of the day, get your colleagues together. Great. All right, I want to thank Emma Abruzzo, our graduate. Who will be on the job market in about 2 years. And which reminds me, as you go back to your institutions and as you're hiring new faculty, what we have come to find out in the last year or so is that a lot of PhDs are not being trained to understand the EDD, and yet when they go out, they are increasingly teaching in EDD programs. So we did a webinar with Andrew, where are you? Andrew Leland, who had an experience working with Bill Firestone and I on a grant project and has really come to understand the EDD. And that was a key piece in his interview process, was explaining that he understands the distinction and that he could teach in those programs. So as you work with your PhD students, engage them in this work so they have that as a thing under their belt to be able to go out and look for jobs.